In this video I'm going to show you how to turn this cheap galvanised metal Dad's beer bucket, which cost £3.99 and not a penny more, into this beautiful garden planter, which I'm going to plant in these mini gladioli, which is so graceful and beautiful. It's going to be gorgeous. And then I'm going to do some transplanting of my seedlings and I'm going to wash the covers of all my garden furniture. Well, I couldn't wash it all, but as much as I could, so that it's nice and bright, ready for the summer, because we're having some really gorgeous sunny days here, and I just want it to be really nice for sitting outside. So these are Salvia Blue Victoria, and I just wanted these to be put in separate pots, as I'm not sure where I'm going to plant any of these plants at the moment, because as you know, if you've been watching my videos, all my borders are new and a lot of my landscaping is new, so I haven't quite decided how I'm going to plant them up or protect them from the dogs, who have already dug up one of the bleeding hearts that I planted in an earlier video. This is Exhibit A, Your Honour. Now, whilst I know one of my dogs did this, I don't know which one of my dogs did it. So there you go. The other ones are still intact. This one I think is actually getting too much sun, so I may move that one. This one in deeper shade is already doing quite well. Over the next few years that will bush up and be really big. Anyway, so what I did first was I just labelled with a Sharpie all my sticks up front, while the area is fairly clean and my hands are still fairly clean, and then I'll just carry on with the potting up. And I've also been making a concerted effort to log all these seeds, because I just don't want to be having to relearn all this again next year. The trouble is with these things is you're only doing them once a year, and so you're not getting that consolidation of knowledge until you've done it for a few years. And I don't want to be coming to this time next year and thinking, oh, how did I do that, and what did I do with that, and how successful was that, and just redoing my mistakes. So actually, after I did noted down these Salvia Blue Victoria, I actually went round all my winter sowing, which I'm going to reveal tomorrow, by the way, because I lost a crop today because it was actually so hot. They burnt up in the inside the little bottle greenhouses, so I'm definitely going to do that tomorrow. And I went round all the garden and just noted down all my seedlings so that I could come in later with a coffee, sit down with a coffee and just write up everything that I did with all these seedlings, so that I've got a really comprehensive log for next year when I go through this again, and for any more seedlings that I start later on in the day. I didn't want to start falling behind, and then once I start succession sowing, I'll forget how I did the first lot in the winter, in January and so on. And so that's how I did that. So this seed log here I'm using is available internationally on Amazon Prime, so I'll put the link in the description below. Funnily enough, the last time I grew this salvia, I did plant it up in a galvanized tin, and I had it planted up like that for years. It grew happily. And then one year it just dried out and died. But I always loved it. It was a really complementary colour to the weather worn, you know, especially once the galvanized tin becomes weather worn. But I remember buying that tin for about £20. So, you know, when I saw these ones in Home Bargains, I bought mine, but you probably have them all over. They're bound to be made in China, probably. Um, yeah, I honestly, I couldn't believe it was £3.99. So I thought, I'm having that, and I know what I'm going to do with it as well. Yeah, back to the potting up, not rocket science. I mean, I'm not going to labour it and make a big production out of it. You just basically, I use moist soil like I would with when I did my seedlings, although I am going to water these ones in actually because they're quite robust. And then I use the label, which is just a lollipop stick, to lift the plant. And I do it, I give it quite a wide berth so that it will push out all the soil, and then I'm sort of minimally handling the roots, and then I put it in the pot with its own ball of soil from the previous planter, if any remains not stuck on there. It doesn't always, and that's it. I mean, it hardly even knows it's been moved, and that's the ideal scenario in most transplanting cases, although where they grow close together, that isn't always the case. Or when you're clumsy like me, then you know it's not always a smooth removal process. But these did transplant pretty well. So they're looking okay. Several hours later, I can confirm. So no casualties yet. But some of my other plants have not liked transplanting. But again, I'm putting it down to that concrete soil that I had. So there's a tough lesson I learned there this year. So anyway, I'll speed this up. I did salvia, Shasta daisy, and I think I did yarrow. Yes, I did yarrow. So let me get on with that now. So that's that done. I decided not to show you me doing the yarrow because it's just more of the same. So let's take a moment instead to just look at these beautiful spring flowers just coming up everywhere, and there's just all this new growth and all these young plants ready to take off. My sunflowers there, and I've got snapdragons there. Look, they were under grow lights, but it's just such a beautiful day. I've brought them out. It's so warm. I just don't think they could do any better than being out here right now. So here's the yarrow. I'm not going to show you me doing that. It was literally exactly the same as I just did with the salvia. So let's get on to doing this pot. So here it is. It's a really nice size. You could easily fit lavender in here. You could have some trailing plants in here. Just do it like you would do a typical cottage garden hanging basket, really. I'm going to put mine on my garden table where we sometimes eat and have barbecues, and then I can see it out my window, and it kind of creates that layered effect that I'm always talking about when you're looking across your garden. So this will be the first plant that I see when I'm looking out my window, and then I'll see up the path and then right through to the sweet peas at the back, which will be growing up the fence. So I was thinking about painting the name, the words off it, but I just decided it would probably all fade over time anyway, so I'll just turn it to the side that I'm not going to see when I'm looking at it. There's always one side you're not going to see when you cluster pots together. You don't do a 360 of a pot when you see one. You don't walk around it, do you? So just turn it away from the bit that nobody's going to see. And when I'm drilling holes in pots, and I've done them in steel pans, I've done them in what else have I drilled holes in? Oh, an old copper kettle. And that actually didn't look very nice, really, because the top was too narrow. The flowers just didn't look that good. So, but what I do is basically put it on the soft ground, and then the drill will just go into the ground. It'll be like a shock absorber, and you won't dent your container any more than you need to, just to get the hole in. And then I reverse the drill to get the drill back out of the hole again before I drill the next hole. So easy as that. And that's not even particularly a powerful drill, and I managed to get through that no problem. And then, as you do with if you're planting up any planter, you will need to cover the holes with crocks or gravel. Doesn't really matter. as long as the holes aren't going to be clogged by the soil. And then I filled it up with my own garden compost, which was just beautiful. So I love my garden compost. As you know, if you watch my videos, I'm just in love with it. It's so good. And then I'm going to plant these beautiful little mini gladioli, and I just thought they looked so graceful and delicate. When I first saw them, I actually thought they were orchids. They're so cute, but they're kind of arching, so they'll be taller than this planter is, so they'll be nice and graceful and elegant. But they won't be sort of towering over it and looking sort of out of proportion like a classic gladioli. So first of all, just get rid of all these lumps, and I don't think I need to feed it. I was thinking about it, but I was thinking this compost is so rich, I probably don't need to feed it. So here they are, look, absolutely beautiful. And they're just sort of kind of arching, and they're like little fireworks, really. Charming Beauty, sorry, it's called, not Graceful Beauty. And I had started them in the garage, so they're already ahead. So look at the root system on them. Started them in February in the garage, and I started 5 in each pot together, and that means I had a total of 10 because I had 2 pots. And this pot is so much bigger than those 2 combined that I'm actually going to put all 10 of these mini gladioli in this container, so it will give a really packed full of flowers and just really, you know, luxurious and elegant looking. I don't want it to be insipid and weedy because I've been stingy with the bulbs. And then I just put them in deep enough that the tips of the new shoots are even, so they're all sort of around the same height coming out of the soil. So I'm not burying them again or anything like that. I do want the tips to show because that's how they were already growing, and I want them to get some light. I will be putting these back indoors if I think there's going to be a cold spell, but they'll be staying out tonight because we're just having such balmy weather for this time of year. It does sometimes happen in March, but not usually every year. It can sort of happen, every couple of years. We sort of get a nice March like this, and we have been known to sunbathe in March in this country, but it's by no means guaranteed. Sometimes you can wait for from you can be waiting till the end of May before spring or summer starts. It's quite unpredictable, but it's a good one this year, thank goodness, because we had a lot of rain last year. And then I'm just going to cover them all with a bit more soil so that they're kind of all evenly peeking out of the soil, but they're all covered nicely as well. So we don't want any bulb showing or anything like that, or even the lower part of the shoots where it's whiter. That's usually a signal that that's where it needs to be buried to, because the white is the bit that should still be in the dark, and that's why it's white. And then I'm going to top dress this just to make it look a bit more attractive and to deter any creatures from getting on it. I'm going to put a little bit more bark chippings. I just think it sort of finishes it off and makes it look a bit prettier as well until everything starts coming out. But I'm not going to cover the shoots. I'm just going to gently place the bark chipping just around the shoots. I certainly won't be putting them over or touching the shoots. And that's it. And then I washed the covers for my outdoor seating where this is going to be. And I feel like, we'll soon be sitting outside and it's just going to look beautiful. So here it is, the beer bucket. And here it is mocked up now with the summer flowers. This is what it's going to look like. If it doesn't look like this, there's going to be trouble. And if you like this video, don't forget to support my channel by subscribing, clicking the notification bell and sharing with your friends. And don't forget to leave me a comment. I'll try and answer them all. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.